Today we're gonna talk all about fashion, finding my fashion sense, how I feel when I dress up, kind of how I got into thrifting and all that kind of stuff. Do I actually have a good fashion sense, or was I just dressing trendy for the time that I was filming? I don't want to become a carbon copy of everything that I'm seeing right now. How do I discover what it is that I like wearing myself? We have this thing called potential syndrome. It's when you look at a piece of clothing and you're like, I don't want to get rid of it because it has potential.
Being more modest requires you to have better style.
Yeah.
Like you have to think outside the box. You genuinely have to have great style as opposed to just wearing like a crop top and
So
whatever.
that's where I'm struggling. Hey babes,
What's up?
it's Haley.
And Eran.
And welcome back to the Hey Babes podcast.
This is going to be a very interesting podcast episode.
Yeah, because this is probably going to be something that most people who watch my channel will be interested in.
Except for me.
Except
no,
for
I'm
you.
joking.
Today we're going to talk all about fashion and Haley and fashion and just fashion in general. I feel like it's Eran and fashion. Pff, it doesn't exist.
No, but you can talk about how Eran has an influence on you leaving your clothes everywhere, and that has to do with fashion because it's clothes. So
Right.
You know.
Are you just trying to say that I'm messy again?
Yeah, pretty much. But it's okay. I still love you.
Okay, good. I'm glad. So I'm excited to get started with today's podcast. And like I said, we're going to talk all about fashion. As you guys know, most of you who probably originally found me from the Haley's Corner YouTube channel know that Haley's Corner was a fashion channel for a very long time.
Yeah.
It's still a fashion channel in the sense that I still talk about it here and there. But over the years, things have evolved so much. And in our last podcast, we only kind of spoke about it a little bit, how my channel has evolved. But today, I specifically want to talk about my own self-discovery, my own experience with fashion, finding my fashion sense, how I feel when I dress up, what do clothes make me feel like personally, and, you know, kind of how I got into thrifting and all that kind of stuff. And Eran was obviously there along the entire journey, so,
So I can just
he'll
skip it behind the
he'll
scenes.
provide a lot of commentary
I'll
here
just
and
nod and be like, yeah, that happened. That was not true. This
Yeah,
and that, you know.
exactly.
So it's okay. Even though I think you remember last podcast, you said this will be a solo episode. Eran won't be there because he'll criticize me, and yet here I am.
And here he's still criticizing me. So I'm not going to go talking into my fashion sense as like a 5-year-old girl because I probably had none. My immigrant parents literally just gave me my sister's clothes. But Eran, I think that's really what developed my love for thrifting and shopping secondhand. A lot of people always hated the fact that they had to wear secondhand clothing. I think I actually loved it because I always felt like my big sisters, who have like a 7-year and a 10-year difference with me, I just thought they were the coolest people ever and that they
Yeah.
had the best fashion sense. So taking their clothes and wearing it, like I felt really good in that. And my mom actually used to take me thrifting all the time, as I said in the past, because we just couldn't really afford to buy things new retail because we were like a newly immigrant family. So as I started to share my whole love for thrifting on my YouTube channel, I noticed that there were so many people who were like really excited about it just as much as me.
Yeah.
And I remember telling Eran, being like, babe, like, I don't know why people love my videos so much. Like, I didn't think that I had any significant fashion sense or taste that made me like special or different from anybody else. And I think that's exactly what was it. I think in a world and like a fashion industry of like fashion being so like expressive in a way of like, it was so intentional, high fashion, couture, everything expensive. I came into it being like, no, I don't want to dress like that.
Yeah.
I want to be able to dress what I can afford and still make it look hella cool and comfortable because
For
I always
sure.
loved baggy and comfortable
Yeah.
clothes.
I personally didn't even know what thrifting was until we were already like married.
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, I'm going to like Value Village. I'm like, what is that? And he's like, oh, it's like they sell like secondhand clothes and secondhand things. I'm like, why would you buy that? They're like, because you get these name brand things for so cheap. And she would
the
show me
appeal
and
of
I'd be
that.
like shocked. I'm like, well, for $5 for that shirt, that's like worth like $50. Like, yeah, it's thrifted. But
It's the thrill of the thrift.
yeah,
That's
but I
literally what
never
say.
bought anything thrifted, to be honest. I've tried.
Because you only
never
used to wear
succeeded.
H&M shirts back
Babe,
then, my
this doesn't
love.
matter. I've been thrifting with you and I've tried, and this things for men just suck.
Well, unless women are shopping for it.
Exactly.
I
but
always
you-
shop in the men's
You
section.
guys were oversized. I'd wear more of a fitted look, so anything I would find there was either just old or baggy or just well, not for me.
Exactly. But I specifically want to talk about my fashion journey evolving through then. How did I used to dress back then? This is not me in high school necessarily. This is kind of me more in college. I felt the most confident and the most comfortable in men's clothes, surprisingly. I would literally love wearing like baggy men's t-shirts, oversized denim, anything that kind of gave me this big boxy look I felt comfortable in. I don't think it was like for a hidden reason that I just didn't like my body type or something. I just really felt like it looked cool.
Was it
really
like more of
loved-
like that street look?
It was
That's
more
what
of
you're
that
talking
street
about?
look for sure, and I really
You watched
loved.
too much Step Up. That's probably why.
That's honestly though, though, yeah.
Yeah.
And I really, really loved like 90s fashion also. And in the 90s, you saw a lot of that like kind of streetwear style being super, super big. So I think definitely that comfort aspect is what made me love to thrift that. What made it so popular though, I realized, it's not even that like my fashion sense was amazing. It was just my fashion sense was perfect for the timeline it was. What do I mean? That's what was trendy.
Yeah.
That's literally
Like right place at the right time.
exactly. Like that's how I was dressing because I was always dressing like that, not because it was trendy. And then you could see like Urban Outfitters and like all of these other stores that a lot of like college kids and stuff were shopping at literally carried shirts that looked like dupes from things that you would find at the thrift store. So sometimes I think now looking back, I always wonder to myself, do I actually have a good fashion sense or was I just dressing trendy for the time that I was filming?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think right now that's kind of where I'm questioning myself the most. That I'm in such a different place that like I don't really know what's trendy, and it's so hard for me to dress myself now.
But I don't think you should necessarily base it off of like this is trendy and like that's what I'm going to wear.
Sure. I 100% agree with what you're saying, but at the same time, whether you like it or not, you are influenced. All right, guys, we officially have a little guest with us.
Again.
It was the shortest nap ever. I think she just really, really wanted to be a part of our podcast. But, Evan, what was it that we were talking about?
I think we're talking about how I never knew what thrifting was, and you were getting like name brand stuff from like thrift store and stuff like that.
So, I don't know, Evan, maybe you can back me up on this, but it's crazy. As much as people hear right now that I'm going through a fashion struggle, it's kind of hard to explain because they're like, Haley, you have so many subscribers and you have so many followers and so many people are watching your videos.
They're also thinking like, oh, you have great style. Like, what are you so hard on yourself? Like, it's so simple.
So you want to know why I'm hard on myself? Because I don't feel like I had good style. I just feel like I was wearing what was trendy at the time.
Yeah.
You know? I feel like, again, I loved what I was wearing. I wasn't being like fake wearing something I didn't love. I just feel like my style at the moment was literally peak basic visco girl. Like, I don't know how to
you're like
explain.
wearing like just oversized hoodies
and t-shirts
and like guys jeans, like high-waisted, whatever. Like it was still fashionable, but it wasn't like
like I don't feel like there was a style to
yeah.
me. You know, I feel like I was wearing what everybody was loving, but it wasn't like that's Haley. But then again, over time, because I thrifted so much, people are like, that is a Haley style.
Yeah.
So like they kind of associated that style to me.
So what has changed from then and now?
I mean, a lot of things. Other than the fact that I'm a mom, I don't want to dwell on that aspect so much because I was already feeling this way before I even got pregnant with Aaliyah. I feel like I was telling you guys, I kind of peaked around quarantine time. That's when a lot of people were watching my videos. And at that point, think about where everyone was at. I was thrifting like hoodies and sweatshirts and all the comfortable clothes. And that's literally all everybody wanted to wear at the time.
True.
So of course it was popular. Of course it was what everybody like wanted to see. But I think if you genuinely go ahead and ask, like, can you give me a bunch of clothes and I could put a rocking style or a rocking outfit together? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Right now, I just really feel like I have such a hard time dressing myself. And there's a few reasons as to why. I feel like I also used to attribute a lot of my style to people I was influenced by. So like fashion on Pinterest and fashion through influencers. Because as much as people say, oh, you should have your own style, don't just copy other people. They're called influencers for a reason. If we're following someone on Instagram for fashion, we're following them for fashion inspiration. Of course, we're going to save their outfits and try to style them similar. You know what I mean? So I don't want to become a carbon copy of everything that I'm seeing right now.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm struggling. Because if I'm not trying to become a copy of everything that I'm seeing, how do I discover what it is that I like wearing myself?
Yeah,
you know?
it's kind of like, how do you become creative if like you're mimicking other things that you see?
Yeah.
It's kind of like copy paste.
Exactly.
You know, it's like you're like limiting your creativity if you're like being, I guess, stimulated, or you like keep looking at different like fashion sources.
Yeah.
I feel like you should be able to get inspiration. It's completely normal, and you're gonna need that
But
inspiration.
make it your own.
But make it your
know?
own.
Yeah, and that's what I've been having a hard time with.
Or like kind of like you have a vision for something,
Yeah.
and you're like, I have these, like, it's kind of like with me when I would make my suits.
Yeah.
Like on Shabbat, like I would have like different color like suits and blazers and like shirts and pants, whatever.
Like nicer clothes.
Yeah, and I would have like these two sets, and I'm like, okay, what combo can I make with this? And I would literally just Google like, I don't know, beige blazer,
Navy
outfit,
trousers or whatever.
something, and then I would see, oh, those colors look pretty cool, and then I would wear it. I'm like, all right, this is good. And I would run it by him, like, hey, what do you think about this? She's like, good, and I'm like, all right, perfect.
So you would get inspiration from it, but you wouldn't
Yeah.
necessarily copy it. You would just see
Yeah.
what works together.
Yeah, exactly.
I think also what the hard part is for me right now is that, as you guys know, a lot of people are following like fashion advice from other people. And Ellen, do you notice that, like, I don't know, every year I just feel like people are dressing more and more open. And there's
Yeah.
nothing like, I don't want to say there's nothing wrong with
Nothing
that.
wrong. To each to their own.
But I do feel like personally, as I've become a mom, even before, as Ellen and I have
No,
been
before
taking,
you never. I think like you never.
I always had my limits.
Yeah, you never
know?
showed really cleavage. You
No,
were never
I never
like
wore booty shorts.
No, it wasn't
like there was.
your
I
thing.
never posted anything with a bikini online.
Yeah.
Like I always tried to like be a little bit more modest in my own level of where I was at, and I just feel like now it's like so normal to wear bra tops
She's
and like
just looking at you like, Mom, you're so
She's-
knowledgeable. Oh,
she's
no.
mesmerized.
Yeah, she's like,
My mom always says that Naomi is the quietest when I'm talking because all I was doing was blabbing my entire pregnancy. So
yeah, before pregnancy, she was blabbing, but it's okay.
you love this blabbermouth.
I do. I never said I
Okay,
didn't.
good.
I'm just stating a fact.
Okay, well let blabbermouth continue.
Okay, go.
And basically, all I wanted to say is I think that over time, now that with fashion industry, everybody is dressing a little bit more provocatively, I want to say. And it doesn't mean that now I can't, I don't know how to explain it. It doesn't mean that now I'm not going to be trendy because I'm not dressing open, but the fact that I kind of put limitations on myself in terms of what I'm comfortable with wearing, like, for example, yes, I never like really wore shirts with cleavage, but now I'm also trying not to wear like tube tops. I'm also
Yeah.
trying not to wear crop tops. Like before I used to be okay like showing a good amount of skin in my midriff. Like now I just try not to do that. Again, everybody to each their own. This is literally like my own decision and it has nothing to do with like me just being a mom. It's just more of a mature way that I
Yeah,
want to dress.
your own decision, your own journey. I think
Honestly, I'll admit it also. Religiously, we are
Yeah.
growing a lot stronger, and
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with wanting to admit
100%.
that I want to take upon myself to be a little bit more modest.
100%.
You know?
I think like when you being more modest requires you to have better style.
Yeah.
Like you have to think outside the box to
Because it's not
dress
easy.
up a certain. Yeah, exactly. It's not easy. You can't just show a certain amount of skin. So you have to have certain pieces to pair together that you genuinely have to have great style as opposed to just wearing like a crop top and
So
whatever.
that's where I'm struggling. It's very, very hard for me to put outfits together when my basic combinations are just not working. Like I can't just pair jeans and a crop top anymore, you know? I can't just pair like mini skirts like again, not can't, again, it's my decision, but I'm just saying like I really, really need to sit down with myself and go through my wardrobe and let go of the person that I used to be.
Yeah, just let go of
Because I
things that you
think-
just don't wear.
I just think that I'm trying, not even that I'm trying, I'm like holding on to Haley of like 2020 that was like peak fashion. Everyone loved her fashion advice. She was wearing all these like men's t-shirts and comfy clothes. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Literally, like just because I'm a mom now doesn't mean that all of a sudden I have to dress like a grandma and I can't dress all cool and stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. I just mean that I personally want to try dressing a little bit more mature, but I have no idea where to even start. with,
Like you want to
finding
dress more
creativity.
mature, but fashionably mature. Like you want to be like the most fashionable mom out there, or person in
I still
want to
be a cool mom. That's like
Yeah,
my thing.
100%.
You know?
I still think you have it. I also think that it has to do with the occasion.
Yeah,
It's very hard to like dress up nice to get fashion inspo if a lot of times you're at home.
I know.
You know, what are you gonna wear? Like
that's
nice
a
clothes?
huge thing of it, and that's what I'm also realizing. Even my Instagram, babe. If you look at my post recently, like everything is at home because I'm just at home, and you know what? I love it. I am a homebody,
Yeah.
and a lot of people don't know that about myself. As much as I definitely have an aspect of being an extrovert in me, I do love my alone time and I really like being at home. And I think after the pandemic especially, it just became so normal to work from home.
Yeah.
But it literally just drilled me into this hole of not dressing up because I'm just home. So I wake up. Sometimes I don't want to say I keep my PJs on, but I keep my home clothes on all day. It does not inspire me. It does not motivate me. It doesn't make me want to take pictures. It doesn't make me want to go film
You also
reels.
just don't go out of the house as much.
I
as you
don't.
used to.
I
Like,
don't.
Before everything is home. Your emails home. This home. Kids are home. Like you have no reason to go out.
But I mean, yeah. And it really,
But I do feel like slowly you are making like this week you went out for brunch
Yeah,
with
with
a
a
friend,
friend. I
and it
know.
was very nice, and it was a very nice cafe. You dressed up a little bit and you're like, wow. And every time Haley goes out, she tells me this exact same thing. She's like, I'm so happy I went out. I don't know why I don't do this often. And I tell her, yeah, why don't you do it often? Yeah, that's their pacifier.
But I really think that the hardest struggle for me is that it's very, I don't know if I'm just lazy, but it's hard for me to dress when there's no occasion. Yeah. Is anybody else like with me on that? I feel like sometimes if you don't have an actual occasion to dress up, then you could just allow yourself to be in like schlumpy clothes. But then if you wear schlumpy clothes, it just doesn't make you want to do anything. I don't feel inspired, I think, because I haven't been out enough.
Yeah.
I'm not like, in Toronto, I used to meet up with all of my thrifting friends. I would get so much inspiration from them. As much as I still watch their videos and I still watch their Instagram pages and I get inspiration in that sense, like.
I watch you guys, by the way.
Yes. But as much as I still get inspiration in that sense, it's very hard when you're not like seeing people in person. And on top of that, babe, I don't really have any like YouTube fashion friends here that I can share this like love with. Yeah. I think I used to in Toronto. I would go with like Sarah and Rachel, Annie. We would literally all go thrifting together, and it would just like inspire me. They'd be like, "Oh, Haley, try this." Like they would bring me out of my comfort zone sometimes. Yeah. And I feel like here there's nobody really pushing me to do that except for myself, you know?
Yeah.
And it's so sad to say, but fashion literally used to be like one of the most important things in my life. And now that's just been replaced. And again, replaced by choice. I love my kids.
For sure.
But I don't want to feel like that's it. I'm a mom, so I shouldn't care about the way I dress anymore.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't care. But at the same time, like...
You mean I should care?
No, sorry. I mean, like, yeah, you should care. But you should care in a way that it's very organic. Mm-hmm. At the same time, you also have to be realistic with the way you're going. Like, don't dress up like just with PJs and, you know, clothes like from straight out of bed. Like, still take care of yourself. If it requires you to put some makeup. Like the other day, you went to go do your lashes and you felt a lot more confident.
I got my eyelashes done and it was like the best feeling ever.
Yeah, you just do whatever. Just feel confident with yourself. You don't necessarily need to wear high heels at home unless that's what, you know, makes you happy.
Or that will make you happy.
No, it won't make me happy because it'll be taller than me. But
that's true.
Even though without high heels, I'm taller. But with... It's comparable.
You just had to put that out there, didn't you?
100%. We have to have it in writing. But I think if you just wake up in the morning and you just do something for yourself a little bit.
Establish a routine. And make getting dressed and getting ready for the day part of that routine.
Yeah.
You know?
And again, it can be so, like exactly what you're wearing now. It's very like, it's comfy. You can leave the house, no problem. But at home, you're also confident. It's not embarrassing
to wear. You know?
But at the same time, comfortable. You don't want to be wearing something you're going to be like suffocating while you wear.
100%.
Especially you're breastfeeding now. That's the thing. When you just give birth, I think the main priority is not
comfort. Like you literally just care to be comfortable.
Yeah, because you know you're waking up every 3 hours in the middle of the night. If you're
sweating.
Exactly. Like it just the reality of it. But slowly, once you'll be able to do certain things, like you'll be able to branch out your comfort zone. I feel like the best bet that you can do is occasionally, you know, go out, have a reason to dress up. Meet with friends, you know, go to a coffee shop, something so simple
to motivate me to do it.
Motivate you and bring that like fashion sense to life back, you know what I mean?
So I definitely think that what I wanted to do was kind of compile myself a little list of some tips and tricks of how you can possibly like start to try your fashion sense, find your fashion sense again. I even told myself that I actually want to do like a whole postpartum, you know, fashion series on my channel because Eran, especially postpartum, I felt this way with Aaliyah, you remember, and now I'm feeling the same way with Naomi. I sometimes feel this way that like maybe just because my body is different and the clothes are not fitting me the way they used to, maybe that's why I don't like the way that my outfits look.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of women, a lot of moms postpartum feel that way. It's not something.
There's actually something that a lot of girls talk about. They're like, with the girls on Pinterest and stuff, they're like, is it a fit or is she just skinny? You know what I mean? Because sometimes genuinely it's hard to tell if something actually looks good on somebody just because we just see like a skinny girl as somebody who's like really, really fashionable and whatever. She can literally wear like a huge oversized sweater and look great. Because let me just tell you, postpartum, that first week, if I wore a huge oversized sweater, I would feel huge.
True.
But when I feel like I was at the lowest weight of my life, like when I was skinny, you would want to say, I would wear a big oversized sweater and I would feel fashionable. But it's the same exact sweater. The only thing that changes my body. You know? So I don't like that I have that association. But at the same time,
then your main goal is gonna be like, okay, I need to revert back to what I was
exactly,
before.
Which is like I'm not trying to do that because number one, I'm breastfeeding, you know, and number two, it's like my body has carried a human being in me twice, 9 full months. I'm not planning on going back to someone before then because I'm a different person now, you know. And again, as much as I want to get back into fitness and health and all that kind of stuff for my own benefit, it's not necessarily to lose weight. So I need to find a way to dress for my body type right now. You know, now that my thighs are a little bigger and my arms are a little bigger, my chest while I'm breastfeeding is definitely a little bit bigger. Is she sucking on your shoulder?
It's looking on her hand.
Maybe she's hungry.
You hungry?
Mama's always hungry too.
You hungry?
Hangry. I developed that adjective. But I would definitely say that I need to really, really tell myself, Haley, you're not trying to go back to the person that you were. You need to kind of move forward both in style and both in, you know, just how you want to dress in general. So a couple of tips that I told myself that maybe you guys can also apply to yourself when it comes to trying to discover your fashion sense. This is something that I did in my past style journey. If you want to go ahead and find inspiration, there's nothing wrong with going to Instagram and Pinterest for that. The one thing that you need to keep in mind when you do see an outfit or you do see a piece of clothing that you like, you need to really imagine yourself wearing that actual outfit or wearing that piece of clothing and ask yourself, is this something that you would walk out the door with? Yeah. If this is something that you would genuinely put on if you had it in your closet and you'd walk out the door feeling comfortable, then it's an outfit you can be inspired by. But if it's something that you're like, wow, it looks great on her, but if I was to wear this, I wouldn't feel comfortable or I wouldn't feel like myself, that's an indication that's not something that's your style. That's just something you're influenced to like. Mm-hmm. Another tip that I would say, is to definitely go through your wardrobe and go through your closet. Nobody ever should tell you, get rid of everything you used to have and buy a whole new wardrobe. As much as we used to title our videos, buying myself a whole new wardrobe, it was really just for the clicks. Like nobody ever got rid of everything and then just completely bought everything new again. You could definitely find inspiration through old pieces that you had. Something that I thought was a really, really great thing that you can do is, as you guys know, most people hang up their clothes, right? So if you're somebody who hangs up their clothes, make sure that you put your hangers, the hook part, have them facing the opposite way. Rather than it being the easy way to take it off, flip them and have it be the opposite way. 6 months from that point, look at your closet and see which of the hangers are still flipped in that opposite way. That's going to be an indication to you that that's a piece of clothing you have not worn in 6 months. And at that point,
good tip. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, that's a very good way for you to visually be able to see. We have this thing called potential syndrome. It's when you look at a piece of clothing and you're like, I don't want to get rid of it because it has potential.
Or maybe one day I'll wear it.
Exactly.
But
the potential.
Like
sometimes the potential doesn't come. Sometimes you just don't end up using it. And sometimes I feel if you have so much stuff, it's harder to get dressed because there's too many options.
I also like catch even myself like wearing like similar outfits all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll if you like something, you would just get the same thing in a bunch of different colors. Yeah, because I don't have the capacity to like try to find this fashion. I also don't like graphics on it. I like you're very
sleek,
style.
Simple. You like t-shirts with no logos, no graphics.
Fitted, nice, just like.
I'm like the total opposite. At least I was. I would literally want like the biggest, loudest, boldest graphic on my t-shirts and stuff. But it's just funny how much things have changed. Like Erin literally used to dress. Oh my god.
Now the tables have turned. Now it's her turn to bash me.
Excuse me. It's coming. You know that it's been coming.
Yeah,
we can't have a fashion discussion without talking about
I'm gonna agree with
it.
you. Like my fashion sense when we just started dating.
Non-existent.
It was ugly.
It wasn't even non-existent. It was bad.
It was bad. I saw a video like that somebody sent me. Like I think Roy, like our brother-in-law sent me like 2 weeks ago, and I was wearing shorts with like these long dad socks,
like blue ones.
Yeah, and I was wearing like at the same time like these like ripped hole Nike shoes, running shoes, and an express like tight V-neck, and the colors were like all wrong, and it was very embarrassing. I don't know how you dated me, to be honest.
I really don't.
My first time was probably very good. Or I was a jack. I don't know.
I'm telling you, especially around that time. I don't want to say I was embarrassed to show you on my channel, but let's just say
you were embarrassed, babe.
No, people would just be like,
is that your husband?
Yeah, they're like, you're a fashion guru on YouTube, and like that's how your husband dresses.
Nobody ever said that.
Nobody did, but they would have. They actually saw it. They were thinking it. No. Guys, I don't want to be mean. Let's just say that he had a pair of white Converse that got so dirty that they didn't look like white Converse anymore. It looked like he bought them black.
I know, it was disgusting. I saw when I see pictures, I'm like, how the hell did I dress like that in public?
Super embarrassing.
And you let me.
I know.
Because
I love you.
It's your fault.
And it's what on the inside that counts. All right. So just because we don't know how long Naomi's going to stick it out with us, I want to kind of try to wrap up where I think my fashion sense is headed. And honestly, I don't know. it's hard to be able for me to be like, okay, here's my little blueprint for my style and how I'm going to dress starting from now. But I think that the first step I'm going to take is obviously gather some inspiration from people that are very much in the same stage of life as me in the way that they dress. So whether that be moms or whether that be people who are a little bit more religious or also want to dress a bit more modest, like it's hard when I'm following so many people for fashion, but all of them are wearing things that I wouldn't feel comfortable wearing anymore.
Yeah.
You know? So I think one of the things I need to do is kind of filter out my Instagram with having only people that I'm following be people who I actually want to dress like.
Yeah,
you know?
not like, oh, that looks so cute, but I would never wear it.
Exactly, because that doesn't help you. If anything, that could just make you feel bad about yourself, thinking you're not going to look good in that. So I think that would be step one. I think step two is definitely going ahead and creating down a list of certain pieces, and like I want to say capsule wardrobe, but certain pieces that I feel like can work. Whether it's a t-shirt, I want to be very specific about small aspects of it. So what kind of neckline do I want? Do I want a boat neck? Do I want a v-neck? What kind of length do I want? Do I want it to reach my midriff? Do I want it to reach my hips? So I want to kind of do that with every different style of clothing. So with pants, high-waisted, do I want low-waisted? Do I want flare? Do I want skinny? Like all of these things and combinations, I want to think about them beforehand. That way when I go ahead and go thrifting, I'll already know the blueprint of what it is that I'm looking for. Because every time I used to go thrifting in the past, I would just pick up things that I was seeing on other people. And this time I want to go thrifting and I want to pick up things that just are intriguing for me. Not like, oh, I want this sweater because it's in a color that's really trendy right now.
Yeah, and you're gonna have like a good reaction when people see it.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. So I think that's going forward.
And cleaning out your closet.
Yes, I'm getting there.
All right, good.
I'm
Just
gonna
make sure.
Okay, babe. So I'm gonna do that whole hanger. That means all the clothes still need to be in my closet for at least 6 months.
Yeah, I hope you're not gonna just like flip it halfway through. Yeah, I wore this to try it on. I put it back.
I don't need to test something for you. The funny thing is, I watched our vlog from when we just moved in 4 weeks ago, and I showed them a tour of my closet, and the closet literally looks the exact same. There's still boxes. There's still clothes everywhere. I'm just having a very tough time letting go of clothes that I used to love. But now I know that I'm not going to wear them anymore. But it's so hard for me to let go. So I think what may motivate me is knowing that I can get some money from them. So maybe I'll sell them. Maybe I'll pass them on to you guys. Because again, just because I'm not going to wear them anymore doesn't mean it won't spark joy in one of you guys or in somebody else. So that means probably some kind of like clothing sale video is going to be coming up.
Video giveaway, we'll see.
Yeah.
And I'll be a big supporter on that because I'm all down with getting rid of as many clothes as possible in your closet. So.
As if you have more clothes to replace my clothes than you need
Babe,
the space.
my closet is like 10% of yours. Mine is a
because
closet.
you have 10% of the
Yours
clothes
is
I have.
like a whole nother bedroom.
Okay, my love, let's not get into this on the podcast, please. Because this is a long conversation with no end.
Very true. But listen, it's all love. At the end of the day, I support Haley's fashion and her channel. On top of that, I don't know how much clothes I technically would need. Yeah. Naomi agrees. And, your discovery for fashion is going to be an endless journey.
Yeah. Okay, guys, Eran is going to have to quickly say goodbye.
Yes.
I'm going to outro
I'm going to
this
say
video.
goodbye, deal with Naomi. Haley will do the outro and all that stuff. But love y'all. Catch y'all on the next one, or I'll make a sneak peek after I take her.
Oh,
okay,
no.
okay, let's go.
Okay, Eran had to go and set down Naomi for the night. But if there's anything I want to leave you guys with, it's this. As much as fashion sense is definitely something that a lot of people say defines you, it doesn't define you. In the sense that if you right now do not know what your style is and you don't know how it is you want to dress, it's totally okay. Especially for all my postpartum mamas, I'm with you and I feel you on how difficult it is to really, really kind of find yourself outside the realm of just being a mom. Because when you're a mom, you really feel like that's your entire life. And it's really hard to separate what it is that makes me Haley and what it is that makes me Aaliyah and Naomi's mom. So that being said, I'm very excited for what's to come. I'm excited that I'm going to be able to kind of discover myself in a way that I want, because what I have now that's different from before is that, especially with YouTube, before I was very pressured on YouTube to always dress a certain way for my audience and for my viewers. And I feel like if I didn't kind of like dress in that style that they subscribed to me for, I thought I was like letting them down, and I thought that's why my views were going down. But I really just realized that it's just people evolve, people change, people's styles change, and people's,
stage in life changes. And now that I'm a mom and that's my priority, my videos have changed as well, as you guys know. And I'm filming a lot more vlogs now. But the fact that I am filming a lot more of the vlogs now puts so much less pressure on me fashion wise. I feel like I could really dress how I want and I don't really need to prove myself to anybody watching me. So, with all of that, I'm very, very, very excited that this new fashion journey is going to take on a life of its own, because at this point, I make all the rules and I'm not really following by anybody's expectations of me. So, I'm really happy that you guys are listening. And if you are watching up to this point, you are the real MVPs. As much as this was a little bit of a shorter episode, I'm very glad that we were able to just initiate this conversation. I would love it if you list down comments below if you're watching on YouTube on what else you want me to talk about specifically in this whole fashion topic, because I have so much to say and very little time to say it when my baby is awake. But be sure to let me know of comments and questions down below. If you're watching up to now, like I said, you're the real MVP. We love the ones who stick around all the way to the end. And you know what? Comment down below fashion queen, because just because I don't know what my fashion sense is right now doesn't make us any less of fashionable queens. So be sure to comment that down below. If you guys are listening on Apple and Spotify, be sure to rate this 5 stars if you enjoyed this episode. It really helps us out a lot. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And definitely follow me on Instagram and on my YouTube channel if you aren't already, to kind of see me go through all this fashion journey, because as you know, I share every aspect of my life with you guys, and that's definitely going to be a journey I'm taking you on as well. So we love you so much. Eran, say goodbye. He's upstairs. He said bye. We love you all so much, and we can't wait to see you, speak to you, hear you in our next one.